Again, and welcome to another episode of Stock Talk. I am your host, Mike, and with me I have Kage.
Hey there. I'm doing good this evening. How are you?
Good, not too bad, Kage. We got a decent show planned for you today. One of the first stocks we're going to talk about is IGC, India Globalization Capital Incorporated. I know you have a lot of decent takes on the board. Going to the year-to-date chart, we're starting to see some resistance popping up. This stock specifically after hours is down just a tad, but that's just because some of your privileged people that get to trade after hours, things like that, and move some assets around. So going on to what would you say that is going on with them? This stock particularly over the years has been shorted and moved around and things like that. Pieces have been moved. It's very volatile, stays volatile. 52-week high of $1.16 average, and over the years, like I said, this thing has been all over the place. Kage, going on to stock twits, because that's where the real traders are at. What do you have on the twits?
Here's a take from TickerDD.com. He says, from January 25th, 2023, looking back across 22-month ends for IGC, percentage change of average monthly price had more negatives, 55%, while percentage change of average monthly volume had more positives, 95%. So kind of a mixed bag for this one. And initially, I was seeing a lot of bears for this stock in the initial comments that I was reading.
Okay. What was their particular sentiment as far as why they were saying the stock was bearish to them? Were they bag holders?
I think they look mostly at the 4-hour charts and some of the longer charts, I think. Like this one from Plasma Dan. He says, IGC, typical turd moving while market is super green, LOL.
Green for today, but could be red for whenever you get whatever numbers. You keep on having all this sky-high debt piling up, and we'll see what happens. So, I mean, green is good. It's always good, but it can change on a dime there. Revolutionary Alzheimer's care. Cannabis-based related drugs for the potential to improve the lives of millions with Alzheimer's disease. So they're working with that. They're a drug candidate, AGC AD1 has shown promising results for treating agitation for Alzheimer's patients with dementia. Want to learn more? Let's do it, Kage. What else do you have on the twits while that's loading?
How about this one from OTC Dynamics? He says, IGC, India Globalization Capital, NYSE American IGC announces beginning of phase 2 clinical trials for proprietary drug candidate in treating Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is one of those diseases that's actually one of those things that's hard to actually research. That's for sure.
Yeah, if they're coming into their phase 2 at that's pretty huge. So we'll have to see where this plays out, and it affects millions and millions of Americans. So anybody that's doing to that is moving along into the phase 2 study as far as with therapeutic cannabis is something to look at there to watch. So with this specific study to improve the life of Alzheimer's patients and their caregivers with a new oral formulation shown promising preclinical case study results. The first natural cannabis-based formula to treat the cannabis disease with low-dose THC. Proactive cannabinoid is the main active ingredient. The only natural THC-based candidate currently undergoing FDA trials registered with clinicaltrials.gov. So that's in itself. Here's the oral solution, as you can see on the screen there, Kage. The oral solution, going back to that, let me go back to right here. The oral solution contains 2 active agents, THC and melatonin. So that's big there. The IGC AD1 formulation is protected by IGC 507A and the 507B patents. And then there's the tetrahydrocarbonol. It's a natural component of the cannabis plant. So through their breakthroughs through their timeline from, as you can see why it's so volatile and why people have shorted it over and over, And I'm not saying to go in and short it or anything, Kage. By all means, I'm not saying that. I am saying we're just covering it because it's popping in the charts. We're seeing this popping up. In 2000, they were in preclinical for IGC AD1 active ingredient. 2017, development of IGC oral formulation, and then 2019, improved investigational new drug approval with the code right there. What else do you have on the twits?
There was a take from Ticker on the 6th, but as far as new comments go that are like the most recent, there isn't really very much that's actually positive for this stock. Like,
well, people need to know like what the negatives are, because that's like here's one right here. Plasdan said no product, no revenue, no future. He says that he's calling it an Indian scam. So if you're a new trader and you see a comment like that, Kage, that's something that you want to scratch your head, and that's what we're trying to do here. Is we're trying to give the bear takes and the bull takes. So that guy, this was from Plasmadan. He put that there. So that was he also put crawling, and he thinks it's going to go to 35 soon. So that's huge in itself. And then one person, the Mile High guy, he even said that their weed over there is not good. So did you see that?
Yeah, there's really not a lot of new comments from people for this stock. I mean, the new comments are not necessarily popping for it right now. I mean, there's only like 30,724 people looking at this stock.
Did you see this other one by OTC Dynamics? Says new study finds more than 30% of patients use cannabis for chronic pain. So there you have it. There you have it on that. That's a very important comment when considering any of these types of stocks. In 2021, phase 1 clinical study was for safety for tolerance in participants with Alzheimer's disease complex successfully. Is granted out for IGC Alzheimer's disease in the U.S. And then there's evaluate the efficacy of AD1 begins, and it's granted to IGC for Alzheimer's disease right there as well. What else do you have there?
How about this one from Mile High Fan? He says, IGC looks like it could run pretty soon. Got to get out quick on this one though. Sell order is in, bullish. And that was January 22nd. That was when he made that comment. Like I said, there's really not a lot of whole new news for this stock.
Yeah, which is fine. I just think that everybody has to have you have to take in everything you can, just so everybody has a fair shake on what they're doing before when they see this thing going in the green. And I'm telling you that this thing is very, very volatile. It's below a penny, and it's not something you want to jump into, especially if you're a rookie, just because I've seen this thing over the years, the last 5 or 6 years, just go up and down, up and down. It's very volatile, so be careful. OTC Dynamics brought up also that there's the floods in India had caused problems to the weed crops as well. So that's something else that people need to know about as well there that could mess with things. So, but we pretty much gave this thing a fair shake. I'll check the Alphabet News to see what we have here. The stock we have is 22nd Century Group Incorporated, XXII. Last tick was $1.10. And it was 50% down after hours. That's not good, Kage, would you say? Sounds like
it looks like there's some resistance in the charts for the year-to-date charts for this stock.
Yeah, looks like founded in 1998, Williamsport, New York. Going on to Stock Twits, because that's where the real traders are at. We got 76 employees. What would you say you have on the Twits? Is this Cannabis Day or what?
It looks to be. I mean, I wasn't aware of any new laws or legislation that made cannabis more accessible or more legal, as far as I know.
This one is the same thing. This one is very volatile, and this one's been all over the board for the past 6 years as well. If you were new out there, please, just any trader, be careful, because this thing has been all up and down across the board. I've seen this thing go all over the place. On Robinhood and everything, it's been talked about. So just be careful out there. Be safe. Watch your wallet. Going on to Stock Twits, because that's where the real traders are at. Kage, what do you have on the Twits?
How about this from Ryan083? He says, XXII, stake high on its future given the acquisition of GVB and the transformation of tobacco with VLN. These two initiatives will serve as major game changers, and I'm confident that the company will significantly improve its revenues in the coming quarters and turn profitable. Bullish.
Pat, if you can believe it or not, in the past, this thing was a low sub, so that's something to consider. He's got decent information there. So going on to what would you say they do here? They're a leading plant biotechnology company focused on technologies that alter the level of nicotine to tobacco plants and the level of the cannabinoids and hemp cannabis plants through genetic engineering, gene editing, and modern plant breeding. The primary mission for tobacco is to reduce the harm caused by smoking by bringing the reduced nicotine content to tobacco cigarettes, containing 95% less nicotine than conventional cigarettes, to adult smokers in the U.S. and international markets. The mission is the hemp cannabis is to develop and commercialize proprietary hemp cannabis plants with valuable cannabinoid profiles and the desirable agronomic traits. What else do you have on the twits?
Here's a take from 33 Trade. He says, XXII, we need to update our About section on ST. At least one line should read, manufacturers of the world only non-additive, 95% less nicotine combustible cigarettes approved by FDA. Bullish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have, it says on here on the site there that the FDA's MRTP authorization, they'll now communicate the key features of VLN cigarettes. Helps you smoke less, 95% less nicotine, helps you reduce nicotine consumption, and greatly reduces nicotine consumption as well. Or you can quit smoking, but that's really hard for some people that are addicted, unfortunately.
Yeah, it kind of seems a little counterproductive, though. Usually companies want to have people smoke more in order to make more profits, if that's their business model, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Seems a little counterintuitive.
Yep. If it can help them to get them, off of that, then more power to them, I guess. So we'll have to see where everything plays out there. These features are critically important for the nicotine as long as has been known to the primary addictive chemical in cigarettes. They've made 22nd Century Group's U.S. grown, which has specifically developed 95% less nicotine compared to big standard tobacco, high nicotine tobacco. Kai, is it too far of a reach to think that maybe somebody picks this up, some of the bigger dogs, and just buys it out if it gets too successful? Just because they have to have that dominance of big tobacco is dominating on the market, and they kind of do like some of the other companies do with IT and things.
I think this is kind of a small stock, sure, and there's a lot of grassroots kind of thing going on with it, I think. As far as other companies getting into this stock or trying to buy it out or anything, that's not out of reach. I'm just wondering what they plan to do with it once they become successful with this acquisition.
That's the thing, is a long-term goal. Maybe someone that listens to the show, when they listen to the show, they'll throw in the comments like they do all the time if there's something they have to add, for sure. It says, for decades, big tobacco has manipulated and formulated and created and marketed products with the intention to create sustain addiction of nicotine. During that time, they've collaborated with a world-class scientists to develop the exact opposite. VLN is the first cigarette in the world that is not designed to create and sustain nicotine addiction. You could see the Natural American Spirit is 19 milligrams, Newport is 15, Marlboro 13, Camel 12, and Marlboro Gold 100. VLN is 95% less nicotine there. So the FDA stated with the nicotine cap, it would help 5 million adult smokers quit within less than 1 year and help 33 million people avoid becoming regular smokers and 8 million American lives at the end of the century. It's truly a game changing for people who smoke, for public health overall, if it succeeds, and that's if it can make it through all, because like me and Kage were saying, we don't have our pom-poms out for it at all. What else do you have on the twits there?
How about this one from LOTJ? He says, XXII, getting into tens of thousands of stores by the end of 2023. Hopefully 30K plus, in my opinion. New Zealand low nicotine bill, June 2023. Menthol final ruling, August 2023. This is about to go nuts. Happy face.
Possibly. Let's see what happens there.
So he's got a couple of headlines for what to look for this stock that's connected to it.
Should we check in the? We could just. Well, I guess we could dodge the hemp industry. Why don't you go through some of the headlines and I'll see if it mocks the mockingbirds and see if they're talking about it at all.
Here's a take from MWM. He says, anything near $1 is a screaming buy with the amount of catalyst in front of 22nd century. So he's looking optimistic for that one. And that was about 1:30 today. So from Breaks for Bedrock. And he's got a chart in his comments. And he says, XXII, amazing how similar the chart looks between this and 22. Recent breakout accepted. Clearly an algorithm coming soon to a theater near you.
If they get the approval in New Zealand, that should be interesting there. Could it be a possible game changer? I don't know, because like I've told you, I've seen this thing move up and down the charts from a penny to the dollar over and over again and get shorted and things like that. It'll be interesting to see how it develops with that with the approvals and getting into more stores. So just keep your eyes out for that adding to more locations to stores. That should be interesting where that plays out. I'm not going to say I have inside dirt on anything. I don't. So just watch out for that news, I guess. Beforehand, just keep your eyes peeled on it and check your news. So next stock we have is MICT. MICT. This is a Nasdaq ticker. Last tick was $1.10. Resistance is popping up from January 11th. Something is going on. They're founded in 2002, headquartered in Montville, New Jersey. Going to the website. First, we'll go to stock twits because that's where the real traders are at. Kage, what do you have on the twits?
There's a couple of takes from this Mark Devo 123, and he says this: MICT. I'm AH. You're not a newbie, and no disrespect, can venture, but why did you think the stock was worth $10 in 2020 when all it did was fall to, I think the lowest I bought 42 cents. I bought at 170 after Ben White messages right up to 240. I'm not complaining, just wanting inspiration and to see things happening. I think just like thousands of people in the UK and around the world. And he's got another comment in his response for Can Venture.
And what's he saying about that?
What Can Venture is saying? Can Venture is saying, actually, this is old news from what he was doing, but never mind.
Okay, I'll just cut that part off. You can go keep on looking. I'll do the overview here. Okay, guys, so going on the website looks pretty good considering where it was at before and things like that. The website better be good. They're in they use versatile proprietary trading technology platforms to serve as high growth sectors for fintech space. Primary areas for focus include online brokerage, equities and trading, online investment, and wealth management services. Sales of insurance products, trading with certain commodities. Definitely not an ape stock, probably, that's for sure. Global fintech holdings trades in several high growth foreign markets, includes Asia, where the company benefits from substantial proprietary database of users. It also works with a number of online portals and large commercial partners. What else do you have on the twits?
How about this take from P2421? He says, I have a feeling our MICT will jump in a couple of weeks and we will make some money. We will reach $2 easily once the volume/reports and institutions come. We are here for almost 2 years already and our time is coming. Bullish.
Okay, what else do you got?
Looks there's a picture of a pimp walking on a treadmill in one of the comments.
Oh, really?
I think this is kind of funny.
He's waiting for it to hit, huh?
I guess so. How about this take from Black and Blue? He says, MICT, wow, my screen is a wall of red except one stock. Impressed that it's holding its own. I think he's referring to the whole of the stock market, and most of it's red, and this one is holding and still green. So
the only news I have from the alphabets on this one is MICT enters into new merger agreement to acquire 100% of operating business assets of Tingo Incorporated. This was back in October of 22. MICT consolidates revenues, income, balance sheet of Tingo's operations from closing income before tax of $298.4 million. $298.4 million as previous reported Tingo quarter 2. It allows the launch of Tingo's food produce export for quarter 4 of 2022 and accelerates the shift in the U.S. dollar denomination revenues from Tingo and expedite the launch of the global commodity trading platform. So that's a huge deal in itself, something to keep an eye out as the year goes through. That's something you don't want to bury. You don't want to kind of bury the lead of what's going on. We don't have anything going on in the alphabet news. There's just some movement, but this is past news, something to think about as you're going along to think about this. If you're new, like I said, risky, watch out there, things like that. It looks like they've acquired 100% of the operating business assets of Tingo. The initial transaction return of issuance by MICT, a combination of 19.9% of MICT's common stock and the 2 series convertible preference shares at Tingo's conversions conditions would be met by owning 75% of MICT. So that's pretty interesting right there, Kage, huh?
Yeah, the merger is definitely one of those things that you have to take very carefully, because new management could have a different direction that they want to take the company and possibly gut it.
What else do you have on the twits?
How about this one from Tickeron? He always brings his charts in his comments, and he says, MICT CRSR versus MICT, what will be the best investment? And he's got his charts in the comments with MITC clearly doing a lot better in October, late November, and even into this year above CRSR.
So we got the primary reasons for the new merger structure expedite to launch for Tingo's food export business is enabled through funding of MICT benefiting several high margin of material export contracts that allows a shift in Tingo's revenues directly into U.S. dollars. So that's going to be huge in itself. But what about as far as the fall of the U.S. dollars? That could affect that. That's what this story is not saying. Is because last time I checked, the U.S. currency is getting weaker because of the high. I mean, that's just something to think about, guys. I'm just saying, going forward, we have to be realists and call it as we see it, and not just get our pom poms out for these types of things. I just have to let you guys know about these things. You know what I'm saying? In case, just put that in the back of your head. Wouldn't you say there, Kage, that has to be? Yeah, they're directing their money into U.S. dollars. It is the king currency now,
but it's quickly falling off its pedestal.
Yeah, as they keep on spending, that currency is going to get weaker, and you're going to lose your dominant status, because that's the main export of the U.S. is dollar bills. Sorry to tell you guys that, but if you didn't know, you just got an education on it.
Or rather, we should say the faith of the dollar.
Yeah,
the faith
of the dollar. Exactly, it's falling. So just to let anybody know out there that's been hiding under a rock or anything, or just forgot about it. The transaction enables the acceleration, development, and launch of Tingo's commodity platform and commodity trading business. So that's interesting in itself. What else do you have on the Twits?
How about this one from Dog Trading? He says, MICT TMNA holders get 0.3167 shares of MICT at $1.09. TMNA is trading at 30 cents. Buying TMNA under 34 cents when MICT is $1.09 or higher is basically buying MICT shares. If MICT goes higher and TMNA stays or goes lower, the TMNA discount will provide cheaper and cheaper MICT shares later after conversion. No TMNA holder is receiving their shares yet, so I would imagine once it is approved for distribution, TMNA will take account of the NOBO list and distribute them.
I noticed one of your comment people said about the 2020 mark, the 560 on September 18, 2020. Remember, that's the time when around when the market was at its highest and things were crazy. That was a different time, and that was your height of all. You had crazy different stocks value. It was over evaluation. You had your market correction. There's another market correction coming again, just a heads up out there. So that is why you saw a lot of your stocks devalued and things like that, and that's why you see this now. Is there more news that's going to help this to bring this about? I don't know. What I do know is that we're still due for another correction. So to explain the 563, that's why you had your fall, because of the first correction before the next correction. So if they keep on doing the printing press and the spending, who knows what's going to happen? I don't know. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. Do you got anything to add on this, Kage, before we jump out of here?
No, I think we gave this one a good fair shake. It looks like the sentiment is positive mostly for this stock, but a lot of people are waiting for it. It seems that just a lot of people are waiting.
And before we take off, we're not being negative about any of the stocks we talked about. We just covered them fairly, and we didn't give any advice to so we don't want to see any comments come back that say, hey, why do you guys hate this company? We don't hate any of them. We just covered them.
We're just giving the overall sentiment, and we're giving it both sides a fair shake with what is more prominent and most recent with each of these stocks that we're doing.
Yep.
So exactly. Our news is, it may not necessarily be accurate for someone who was like a day late or is thinking like a day ahead. We're just focused in the now, right here, right now.
Exactly. Yep. And sometimes you speculate in the future. There's questions to ask and things like that, but you got to cover the sentiment of what the traders are saying. Because if you don't cover all the bulls and bear comments, then you just get a bunch of people thinking, "Hey, this is okay." That's why me and Kage like to cover both sides. So it's not necessarily Kage's take or my take. It's what we were reading from the comment boards, what people are saying. We give everybody a fair shake. So
watch what you do. Don't necessarily make hasty decisions and buy things all willy-nilly thinking you're going to make a profit.
Yep, exactly. And don't make it a dog show. And good night now.